Hello. Welcome to another episode of Caitlin watches a movie and then she talks about it. So a few weeks ago, actually it was more like a month ago, I did a very unofficial review of the movie The Shining. I didn't intend on making a video on it when I watched the movie. It was one of those movies that I have known about forever. I knew it was a classic and I finally decided to watch it and it just messed with my head, so I had to make a video talking about it. I actually had a lot of fun making that video, and I thought, there are a lot of movies that I haven't seen. More specifically, a lot of the classic movies, I guess. I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna make yet another segment for this channel. 'Cause why not? So the other night, I was perusing through Netflix, trying to find one particular movie, which I could not find because it's apparently not on Netflix anymore. I found another movie that turned out to be probably one of my new favorites. I'm not gonna tell you what movie I was looking for originally because I still plan on watching that and doing another review on. Perusing through Netflix, couldn't find the movie I was looking for. I was on the couch with my boyfriend and he pointed out this movie because apparently he used to watch it a lot or he's just seen it many times way back. And this movie is Face Off, which is truly one of Nicolas Cage and Jon Travolta. Wow. Okay, let's slow down for a second. One of Nicolas Cage and Jon Travolta. Is it Jon Travolta or Jon? This is gonna be a long video. Jon Travolta or Jon Travolta? Oh, it is. Okay, Jon Travolta. Is that how other people say it though? Jon Travolta. I feel like I've been saying it wrong my whole life. Anyways.
Yes, get over it!
Face Off is truly one of Nicolas Cage and Jon Travolta's greatest performances I have ever seen. It's an action-packed action movie. Action-packed action drama. There's drama. Boy, is there drama. It's an emotional roller coaster. So, I have never heard of this movie before. Didn't know anything about it, obviously. Just said I haven't heard of it before. The only expectation I had, or kind of thought I had, I knew that in this era of film, Nicolas Cage was prime. As in, his prime crazy. I was pumped from the beginning. I think I've rambled enough about this. I'm gonna tell you quick, give you a rundown, what happened, and then give you my thoughts. So the movie opens, Jon Travolta's character, Sean Archer, is on this carousel in the park with his son Michael. There's a nice, a dreamy filter on this shot, kind of glowy, everything's just dreamy and cloudy looking. Then, cut to Nicolas Cage hiding on this little hill. He's a ways away from the carousel. I assume it has to be a good distance because he has a sniper. Sean Archer is riding around the carousel with his son. Castor Troy, Nicolas Cage, is hanging out with one real gnarly mustache. I mean, it was beautiful. So this guy, hiding in the grass with a mustache, shoots this guy on the carousel, Archer. But at this point, we don't know what's happening. Sean Archer is on the ground. He'd just been shot. He got shot through the shoulder and he's crawling over in the grass towards his son, who he realizes is dead. Flash forward 6 years. Sterling Archer. Oh my, I knew this was gonna happen. Sean Archer. Sterling Archer is a completely different character. Sean Archer is in the FBI. He's in his FBI office, very distraught with emotion. He's just very stressed. He's running around yelling at his team because they gotta find this terrorist, Castor Troy, who's the guy that shot him and his kid 6 years ago. Again, we don't get much context at the beginning. It's kind of just throw you in there. This guy's a bad guy. This guy's the good guy. There you go. Then it cuts to Castor Troy in a like priest outfit, like the black robe with the thing and the rosary, and he is setting up this big bomb that's like in a bunch of these like plastic suitcase things. This part, the next scene, is probably one of my favorites of the whole movie. So there's this choir singing out in this big like lobby area, and at first I thought it was like in the FBI building, and I was like, why is there a choir just singing in the FBI offices? But they were actually in the LA Convention Center, apparently. I'm making so much sense so far. Castor Troy comes like running out in his little priest outfit. Future Caitlin, I hope you can find the clip to play right here of Castor Troy's amazing dance moves. This part I was just like, what is happening? So he comes out and he starts like headbanging and like twerking and stuff in front of this choir. And then he runs up like behind this girl in the choir. And this is where we get the like first hint of like how much of a like ladies man Castor Troy is. But really he's just a creep. Like this dude's just creepy. He like goes up behind her and it's like whispering her in her ear, and he like grabs her butt, and then it cuts to the next scene. So we're just like, did he know her? Like, have they had previous relations, or is this some like random girl in the choir that he's just going up to? I don't know. I have so much more to get through. Okay, let's go. Okay, so the next scene. Castor Troy is walking out on this like airstrip all of a sudden. So he walks up to like his homies, gang member dudes, and his private jet. One of his posse members is Tommy Flanagan. That's the actual actor's name. AKA Chibs from Sons of Anarchy. He's one of my favorite characters in that show. And this movie, he's like super young, and I pointed him out immediately, and I was like, it's Chibs! So I love this movie. From that scene, I was like, I'm sold. Here we go.
Get over there!
One of the guys is his younger brother, Pollux. Okay, so they all get on the plane. As the plane starts going down the runway, all the FBI shows up in their SUVs and helicopters, and they're blazing down the airstrip, which is the longest airstrip that I have ever seen. Okay, so eventually plane crashes into a hangar. Archer and all the other FBI guys run in the hangar. It's shooting everywhere. All these really amazing like slow motion gunshots, guys jumping over barrels, and sparks are just flying out of nowhere. We don't know where they're coming from, but stuff's blowing up. Castor's younger brother Castor's younger brother Pollux gets caught by the FBI. Castor's looking at him, he's like, sorry bro, gotta go. Then Sean Archer starts chasing him through the hangar, and then it's like them facing off. So they get up to this like big jet engine that's just running for some reason. Somehow Castor Troy gets pushed in front of the jet, and he flies back into this great... He's apparently like in a coma now. They realize in order to find out where the bomb is, they're gonna have to talk to Pollux, the younger brother, because he was a part of the whole scheme, so he knows where it is. Some of Archer's like higher ups come to him and they're like, listen, we've got this plan. It's kind of crazy, but we can totally do it. So we're gonna put Castor's face on your face, and then you're gonna go in the jail and talk to Pollux because he's gonna think you're Castor, and then you can find out where the bomb is. It's fine. We got this. So they do the procedure, just real simple. Cut a laser, just cut his face off. Picked it up with a suction cup thing and put it in a bowl of jelly, put the other face on. Apparently the jaw structure just molded to the face as well, because all of a sudden Sean Archer became Castor Troy. I think the procedure took like one night, if that, maybe a few hours. Sean Archer becomes Castor Troy. They take him to prison, and he's trying to acclimate, and it doesn't take him long to realize that he needs to start acting more like Castor Troy, aka just crazy, and like convince Pollux that he's the real guy. And then the real Castor Troy wakes up from his coma in this like medical center lab place. Chibs, he's Chibs. I don't know what his name was in this movie, but to me, he's Chibs. Chibs and some other dude bring in the doctor. Castor Troy basically forces him to like turn him into Sean Archer. And there it is. The big switcheroo. The bad guy, Castor Troy, now in Sean Archer's body, goes to the prison to visit Sean Archer, who's now in Castor Troy's body. Okay, so now Castor Troy, looking like Sean Archer, starts living his life. He goes and like lives in his home. He like goes to the FBI offices and pretends like he's working there. Basically, at this point, not only does Archer have the mission to find out where the bomb is, but now they're gonna have to figure out how they're gonna switch bodies and faces back. It's like a scientific Freaky Friday. Action, sciencey Freaky Friday. Castor Troy has his younger brother released from prison. So then his new plan is he's actually gonna go find the bomb in the convention center and disarm it, so he'll be the new hero. And because he's the one that initially armed the bomb, he knows how to turn it off. So he goes beep boop bopple beep and he turns it off. Oh no. Sean Archer, still in prison. Now he's got to find a way to escape prison. He goes up to a guard and asks for a cigarette. He gives him one for whatever reason. Then he starts a fight with the guards or something, so he gets pulled into this back room where they have this like electric chair, like shock ring system thing. There's already this guy in the chair that's like being shocked to smithereens and he's like foaming at the mouth and stuff, and you're just like, okay, so this is bad. They throw that guy on the floor, put Archer in the chair, and he asks them to light his cigarette first, which they do, because Archer starts saying something to the guy on the floor like, your family loves you, your wife loves you, something like that. I don't know. Apparently there was some kind of like key word that he said, and then this guy just like came to life and he starts punching people, and then Archer like takes the cigarette and puts it in the guy's arm, and then it's chaos. Bullets are everywhere. Lots of sparks. There's way more sparks in this scene. Archer needed all this diversion and he goes up to like the main computer, just starts frantically typing in a keyboard because that's what you do when you gotta get that system overload. He like did something to the system that allowed him to escape, because then all of a sudden he was on the roof. Archer gets back to the city. He steals a car. Somehow he ends up in, I think it's like Castor's apartment or something, or he's got this big like loft and they're all like doing drugs. And Archer tells Castor's friend that he wants to find Archer and cut off his face. And his friend is like, what? And then his friend goes, face off. Gotta get the face off. Oh, that's the whole premise of the movie. Anyways, the real Castor Troy finds out that Archer is in his apartment and he sends the whole FBI there, and then it's another crazy action madness, slow motion bullets and diving and somersaults and guns everywhere. And then Castor Troy and Sean Archer have a face-off. At some point, Pollock was there and he falls through the ceiling and dies. So Archer gets away. Oh, wait. Archer, after that whole debacle with the apartment, gets back to his house, encounters his wife, Eve, and Eve just starts freaking out because she just sees this random dude in her bedroom. And Archer's like, no, it's okay, it's just me. Eve works at a hospital, and then I guess she just gets called in or she goes to work or something. Archer goes there to see her again, convinces her that he is Archer by telling her some like story about their daughter that only Archer would know. She's like realizes it's Archer in this body and she patches him up and stuff. Go to the funeral. I don't even know who the funeral is for. I'm assuming it was like one of the other FBI people because a lot of them died. So they're all at this funeral in this like really small little church or something. Then Archer shows up. It cuts to like the end of the funeral. Everyone's gone. Archer and Castor are like the only guys in this sanctuary church place. And they start talking to each other. And of course, they whip out their guns and start shooting at each other. And then another one of my favorite scenes, Castor and Archer are facing off, and then Eve shows up. She has a gun. Some of Castor's like posse guys show up. Chibs is one of them. Sasha, who I haven't mentioned before, but she's a side character who's like Castor's ex-girlfriend or something. She shows up and she's got a gun. They're literally all pointing their guns at different people. So it's like the ultimate face-off. Movie title. And then it does one of those things where it like zooms in on their eyes, like cuts back and forth to each person. So it's like, who's gonna shoot first? They all just start shooting. Okay, so then Castor and Archer start chasing each other again. So they both run off to these docks and they both get in these like speedboats and they're chasing each other on the water. They end up crashing and like landing on this like sandy area next to like a harbor or something. They fight. Castor Troy gets shot in the stomach. All of a sudden, there's police and ambulances everywhere. Eve's there too, all of a sudden. The last scene of the movie is Archer walking back up to his house. Eve's just like in her house at her desk, like doing things. And then she sees like Archer walking up to the house. She's like, oh my gosh, he's home. And we were both like, wait, so she was just never there for the procedure? Like she never went to the hospital? Like he just had this quick little procedure to switch his face and then he just drove himself home? And he walks up to the door, she opens it and he has this moment, he looks up at her and he's like, hey, I'm Archer again. So Eve and Jamie run up to the door and they're all hugging and they're like, oh, we're all back together. And then Archer brings in this little 5-year-old boy who I left out earlier. I'm sorry, I had a lot to get through. Castor Troy had a son with this Sasha girl. Archer brings this little boy Adam home and he's basically like, hey, Adam's gonna live with us now. Immediately, Eve and Jamie are just like, oh my gosh, yes, he's part of the family. Eve and Sean are just like, he can take Michael's room, which is their little son that died 6 years ago. So basically, they're just replacing their son with this random little boy now. And then everyone's happy and then that's where the movie ends. I clearly did not do this movie justice. It's just such a tragic, emotional roller coaster. The story of a man who lost his son. He goes and traces down this terrorist and switches faces with him so he can ultimately destroy him. I actually really enjoyed this movie. I think it was like within the first few minutes of watching, I knew where this movie was gonna go and I was all in. My boyfriend said it a very good way. Basically, this movie was made in the late 90s. It fits in with the other action movies of that time. This movie could not have been made at any other time. And apparently, I think it was like kind of a big movie when it came out. It's very cheesy. The action scenes are very over the top, a lot of slow motion, but that was like the style back then. I just had a lot of fun watching it, and I am now contemplating just making a series of watching a lot of Nicolas Cage movies to review, because he is truly one of a kind. If that's something you guys would be interested in seeing, let me know. Otherwise, I do have several other movies in mind that I want to watch and talk about on camera. I don't really know what else to say. Face Off, 10 out of 10. It is a great movie, great action, so much drama, emotional roller coaster. Thanks for watching, if you made it this far. If you did, God bless, because I have a feeling this is gonna be a real hot mess. I post videos, or I should say, I try to post videos every Tuesday and Thursday. You will definitely get a video every Thursday. I'm doing my best. So I'm gonna say every Tuesday and Thursday, but if I miss one, I'm very sorry. I'm trying. You can follow me on all social media at its_justcaitlin, or on Facebook is It's Just Caitlin. Definitely go watch Face Off if you have not. It's a good time. All right, guys, I will see you in the next one. Bye.